I hear a lot about Eurocentric beauty standards and how it oppresses black women. You know, the colorism, featurism, texturism, darkism, lightism, uglyism, bodyism, and all of the isms modern women discuss. But what I've never actually heard is anyone define what the black beauty standard is. I mean, if there is a Eurocentric beauty standard, then there has to be a black or Afrocentric beauty standard, right? Now enter Kevin Samuels. He is probably the closest person we have in modern day black America to openly express what modern beauty standards are. You know, size 4, low to healthy BMI, natural hair, no baby daddies, fit, feminine friendly, etc. Now, while I agree that those standards are realistic for those modern women who are determined to marry rich, high value men in America, the issue is
this isn't African. That's not who we are.
Kevin himself mentions that he uses the English standard.
High fashion has a lot of suspect looking stuff in it. Cannot dispute that, especially if you go Italian or French. My style personality of the 9 leans more European. My overall style tends to be this. Leans very English. This is what you see me in most of the time. What's my standard? Oh, we get into all of it. Height, weight, dress, size, and all that other stuff. And I want to do this right now for black women in particular. Don't start talking to me about some white man standard of BMI. No, I want you to go back into your family album. You know, the one Big Mama used to have. And I want you to flip back and look at the women in your family tree from 1950 on back. And that's your DNA. I guarantee you, you will not see the majority of those women over 150 pounds. You won't. You're darn sure not going to see them at 200 and 300 pounds.
Granted, but my lineage can't be traced to England. And for black folks, this is also not the case. Our grandparents and great-grandparents in Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas, they didn't come over on the Mayflower. Those dances grandmama used to do in church, those hairstyles, that special medicine she used to make for us when we were sick, that did not come from Europe. The thing is, black standards for black African people existed way before being in America, and some of those beauty standards are alive and well in black America today. So, we're going to talk about it. Black people have always distinguished between attractive women and unattractive women. Black beauty standards, also known as African aesthetics, has been researched and applied since ancient times. These studies continued even after chattel slavery, as our ancestors fought to maintain their identity in spite of genocide. In African cultures, one of the most common tools used to determine and display feminine attractiveness were beauty masks. These masks describe the facial elements that each specific culture defined as beautiful and desirable. Some examples are though there are small variations from region to region, generally the following traits are seen as the most desirable: facial symmetry, elaborate braids, delicate features, almond eyes, small ears, Nubian nose, full lips, high cheekbones. Other examples from classical and medieval Africa that depicted standards of beauty are statues of African queens. Some examples are Now, a person's physical appearance was only one aspect of beauty. One's attitude, personality, and the ability to maintain and nurture healthy relationships were also a huge component of beauty. So, from a black and African beauty standard, in order for a woman to be beautiful, she had to have both inner and outer beauty. This means she had to have manners and good character. So, What does this mean for today? Twerking, fogging it up, hoeing and scoing. These would not be acceptable aspects of beauty according to the Black and African standard. And it didn't matter how good you looked.
I said, this black man probably don't even like black girls. He probably doesn't even talk to black women. He probably don't even think twice about black girls at all whatsoever.
Marimba Ani distinguishes the African beauty standard from Eurocentric beauty. She explains that traditional African beauty standards emphasize a person's character and inner qualities, whereas Western beauty was more concerned about the outward. Also, in many African languages, the words good and beautiful are synonymous and mean literally the same thing. One example of this is found in Sylvia Ardone Boone's study of feminine beauty among Mende females. Beauty for the Mende is physical, metaphysical, and historical. Beauty as a concept in Mende operates on 3 planes of existence: in the world of spirit, in the world of nature, and in the life of humans. Another African word, Nyende, means both to be good and to be beautiful. Women are expected to be attractive on the outside while maintaining a gracious, cheerful, modest, gentle, and helpful disposition. An Igbo woman said in her culture, beautiful would never be used to describe a woman that displayed bad character or improper behavior. So what does this mean? Twerking at restaurants, at kid soccer games, at funerals, or outside of Walmart just for fun would have made you ugly by African beauty standards, y'all.
You show is ugly.
Something interesting is that traditional Black beauty standards do not emphasize colorism, featurism, or texturism. Different skin tones and complexions have always existed in Africa, so the color of a woman's complexion was generally not the primary factor in determining how beautiful a woman was considered. It was more important that a woman's skin be clear and of an even skin tone. Also, texturism doesn't really apply, as we see there is a much higher emphasis on how elaborate a woman's braids were than the actual texture of her hair. Now, as far as body shape or size, women with a smaller waist to hip ratio, basically a woman with a curvy build, were the most idealized among men of African descent. For example, a recent study showed that men of African descent had a higher preference for women who had smaller waist to hip ratio compared to men of European descent. These studies also suggested that men of African descent from Ghana, the UK, US, and the Caribbean idealized women with a low to normal BMI, although Black and African men had a higher acceptance of women with a higher than normal BMI. However, all of these studies showed that regardless of a person's ethnicity, men preferred women with a leaner frame, although Black and African men found curvaceous women with a normal or low BMI as the most desirable. So what does this mean in simple terms? Simply put, one can accurately conclude that the Black man's preference for the slim, thick woman goes all the way back to Africa. So, do we see the Black beauty standard putting Lizzo on top? Or how about Meg Thee Stallion, or Cardi B, or Nicki Minaj, or Lori Harvey, or Kelly Rowland? Well, I'll let you decide. But, as mentioned, according to the Black beauty standard that has existed since ancient times, a woman would not be considered beautiful unless she had the character and looks to back it up. Who knew standards were so high? So, what do you think? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns below. Also, if you like this content, you can now sign up to become a monthly member and join my community where you'll receive exclusive perks made available just to members. Check out my membership page to learn more, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for listening if you have gotten this far, and we'll talk soon. I'm really excited to announce my new kids book, Aisha Learns to Love Her Hair. Aisha's hair is stunning, but she struggles to see its beauty. Through encouragement and wisdom from Grandma Lily, Aisha learns powerful lessons about self-acceptance. Aisha's journey is a heartwarming tale of family, culture, and confidence. Share her magical journey with your little loved one today, available for purchase.